So we are right now just a few hours away before you make your way to the Cool House for the government 9-year party. How's your 365 tour gone so far? I mean, you've been places all over North America, Mexico, Love Parade.
Yeah, the tour has been something else. It's blown my mind, actually. Everywhere I've gone, I've got the craziest reaction. You know, I think it's having a new project, and also the sort of repetitiveness of coming back to the States has led to this point where now I've got something happening around me. It's exciting people, and for instance, Denver last week, which is going to be the last city on the tour next April, was insane. There wasn't enough security to remove the people from the dance floor when we finished. And people were like hammering on the front of the DJ box. It was madness. And Richie, who's playing here tonight, we played together on Friday in New York. And I mean, he's amazing. The night was very special. So yeah, it's going great. And I'm actually making a bit of music at last.
Now, how important is Love Parade to the North American scene?
It's going to be very important. I think the first year was really just sort of haphazardly put together and happened, and everybody went, whoa, that was kind of cool. And this year there's definitely still teething problems. I think they're going to iron them out in the next year or two, but it's going to become, I think, as equivalent as the Winter Music Conference. I think it will allow people to have something to look forward to and travel to. It's not sort of just for people that live in San Francisco. And yeah, it worked out very, very well. They just got to work on some of the sound systems.
Tell us a little bit about the Everybody on Tour release with Sander Kleinenberg.
No. Okay. Sander and I have kind of been friends for a long time. We used to be on the same roster in the UK. We have a very similar sense of humor. And he just wanted to do something different. I think he was sort of trying to appeal to a couple of different areas, but we have a crossover. There's a huge sort of centre area of people that would come out to a Sander show or to see me play. But there's definitely some sort of more fringe people that maybe hadn't heard Sander or myself. So the CD idea was born, and yeah, we're just sort of looking at actually doing some stuff on tour together, because it's trying to fit it in with his schedule. My schedule has been pretty tough. But yeah, my CD's much better than Sander's.
Now, you started your tour. You're going for a year long. You started in June.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about halfway through.
Yep.
Has there been any point where you've thought, I can't finish this?
Never. No, this is a luxurious lifestyle, and I'm always thankful that I ended up being a DJ and not a postman, which was my previous job. And I don't know, it's getting to go to all these places is a privilege, but unfortunately the lifestyle sometimes dictates that you don't get to spend any time in each city. You see the airport, the car, the hotel, the club, the after party, somebody's carpet around at their house, and then back to the airport again. So with this, it's kind of slowed up the process of traveling, and there's a lot more order in my diary. I know kind of where I'm going to be up until the end of the first year, which is June, and I picked cities for various reasons, but one of them was I wanted to spend some time in that city and get to spend more time with people from the city, learn about the place, etc., etc. So, no.
Do you keep a running diary or a blog of where you're going for your fans?
It's being written in diary form, and it's going to be on my website when eventually that's up, which is apparently 3 weeks' time. But it's going to be, I think, printed by djmag.com, who are going to... My girlfriend and I have basically written the funny stuff that's happened and some boring information, and just sort of cobbled it together into something that hopefully will be sort of fun to read. So, yeah, it's DJ Mag, I think, I'm going to print it, or not print it, put it online next month as the first city, which is New York. And then we're going to backdate to Hong Kong. It's all kind of a mess, of course, as my life is.
Now, you did start out the tour, and just in general in Hong Kong, I guess you could say. How is that scene compared to North America or Europe?
There's a lot of expansion and contraction in Hong Kong. There always was. It was a very sort of transient crowd in the 90s when it was a British colony. There, people came to earn money. It's a financial centre from the lowliest barman to the multi-millionaire businessman, and it's still the same. And I saw the scene die so many times, and for 2 or 3 weeks you'd think that was it. There was no more dance scene in Hong Kong. But then the new crowd would sort of infiltrate the dance floor. And at the moment, it's amazing in Hong Kong, but it's very small. It's gone from big raves of, well, big for Hong Kong, of 2,000, 3,000 people, to small clubs again, which, you know, I actually prefer. But it's still cool. It's still really good. It's hard to compare it to anywhere else. It's definitely got a unique sort of feeling to it, Hong Kong.
Now, how culturally diverse is the scene there? Is it all Asians, or do you see other...
The 90s was everybody. Now it's 95% Asian, but it seems a lot of Europeans have started to go back to Hong Kong and use it again as, you know, a place to earn money. So, I mean, I tried for years to make our dance floor a lot more Asian because it was a very Western scene. And it was, you know, we printed all our flyers in Cantonese, and slowly people came. But I think they were sort of scared off by the crazed looks on lots of Europeans' faces who were on the dance floor doing this all through the night. But now it's their scene, you know, it's the local Hong Kong Chinese scene.
So that was the start of the tour. Now, how did you get the idea of actually doing a year-long tour?
I've sort of, for 2 years, been treading water. I've just been DJing around the world, and it's great, but you need to excite people about doing something. So, you know, I kind of, a year before the tour started thinking how I'd like to approach things, scribbled on hundreds of pieces of paper. There's just my little sort of notes, and put them all together. And one day was thinking about how music had affected people in Hong Kong and how it affects people now. You know, now a lot of DJs, it's sort of hit and run. You arrive, you DJ, you leave, you don't come back for 6 months or a year. And I didn't feel I was working the music as well as I could do, or as well as I had done in the past while living in Hong Kong. So that got me to thinking maybe I should try and do more than one party and try and build something over a 1 or 2 month period. And sort of that was the foundation of the idea.
Now, how does something like that affect your home life? It's just gone?
My home is in a bag. Home life, I'm lucky. My girlfriend comes everywhere with me, and this is my home life. I really enjoy the moving about the world. You know, I have a house in London. All my stuff is there, but it's just stuff. So my house is still going to be there, hopefully, when I get back. So no, yeah, home is wherever I am right now. A hotel, Toronto, for 24 hours.
You had a stop in New York City. How was that in comparison to other American cities?
I've actually got 2 more weeks there. I'm going back tomorrow. I think it's like the capital of the world. New York is, you know, a sick city. It's got everything for everybody, and I think I definitely have to spend more time there, and I want to spend more time there. But I love it. It's got a crazy sort of local population of New Yorkers who have definitely got their own flavour, and are very different to the rest of the Americans. But I don't know. It's so hard to gauge a city on such a short period of time spent there. And, you know, again, that's why 365 is out there, so I can try and sort of get to grips with how a city works, what the people are like, how I feel about it. You know, maybe in 2 weeks' time you should ask me at the end. But so far, 6 weeks in, you know, I'm loving it. I definitely see myself returning and living longer in that American city, but there's other ones, you know, that are equal to my sort of passion to go there and spend time.
How would you compare Toronto to somewhere else? A lot of people come in here and say, well, Toronto's Little Europe.
I actually don't try to compare places. I love Toronto. I come here, I always have a good time. There's a great music scene, the city's cool. It's on my list of places I'd like to do the project. The scene, if you're just talking about the dance scene, is unbelievable. I mean, a month ago there was 9,000 people at Government. I think System Soundbar is amazing. People seem very open-minded to music. Government is a huge club. The last time I played there, I didn't feel under pressure to play huge records, so that in itself is a very unique and cool thing about this place. So, yeah, I don't really compare, because nowhere is better than anywhere else, really. There's some places I'm not suited for, but...
When you come across a place, and as part of your tour, you're not only experiencing the clubs and the music, you're picking up stuff that you'll take on with you, production-wise.
Herpes.
That too. No. What you do behind closed doors is your business, not mine. And whatever the club provides for you, it's up to you. When you pick up something, an idea, a feeling from a city, how do you get that onto vinyl or onto digital?
This is what I'm learning slowly as well. My music production kind of is... If I'm on my own, I'm going to take a year to make a record. I'm very slow. But one of the ideas I had in Asia was to try and experience the local, what sort of instruments are played locally, and which isn't going to translate to everywhere, because obviously in the West there's a certain pool of instruments. But I don't know. I think just being in a place makes you feel a certain way. You know, I think from eating the food, hanging out with the locals, being in Asia, the temperature, I don't know, like the humidity, whatever, like humidity gets me crazy. So the tracks I made in Hong Kong, for instance, were a little more unhinged, you know, and I'm feeling a bit sort of a bit more sane in Hong Kong, in New York right now, strangely enough, as intense as New York is, and I think that it just affects my mood. So that was the one of the sort of thoughts behind making music in each region. It's a hard one to answer, definitely. Again, come and see me in a year and I'll tell you, and we can listen to the records.
We'll do a split screen sort of thing and get going on there, exactly. Well, we'll leave you tonight because you're on in just a little while. Mm-hmm. And thank you very much for your time.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Lee Burridge, saying hello to Amplified Radio and DJ Amps.